Hey dude, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
How much of a meme would have been if I just said that and then didn't come in here at all?
Oh, I've been pretty fucked, dude. I would have, I don't know, dude. Probably would have banned you.
I think I probably would have deserved it at that point, honestly.
Nah, I'm just gonna, I don't fucking give a shit, dude. How are you doing, my guy?
I'm doing pretty great. I just wanted to, we could hop into a chat here since I was playing a, like I said, War Thunder, and then I was like
Yeah.
5 minutes between responses. I felt bad for it.
Sure, all good, homie.
But yeah, a lot of the, I think, it seems like it comes up on Twitter basically every day to deal with imposter syndrome and not feeling like you're actually accomplishing something even though you've come so far.
Yeah, imposter syndrome is a fucking bitch, dude. Like, I've had multiple occurrences. Like, the first one, like, was earlier this year when I got on the Spectrum. I was like, man, this is a fraud. I shouldn't have got in. I'm terrible. I'm like, alright, cool. It's rough to go through.
You ever looked at though, like, I mean, it's easy to find people online if you're looking in the right places and know what to look for that kind of do the same thing or have maybe a better skill set for it. But if you actually just take like a random sample, you know, from real life, how many people actually do or even know about the things that, you know, a lot of these people in Creative Circle do, like you?
I mean, not a lot, but it's hard to get in the mindset. Like, I mean, I understand that I'm better than most people, but I don't compare myself to most people. I always compare myself to like fucking the best in the game, and it's like hard to like get out of that mindset because I want to be as good as I can be. And I think for most artists it's the same. Like, either you're surrounded by these other artists, like they're your friends, they're your peers, or they're people that you look up to and respect.
Mm-hmm.
I think like a big like turning point of like, oh man, I think I am starting to get at that point is a couple of the people that I was like longtime fans of that I was like really looking at when I first started getting into art started like liking my shit. And like the big thing was like I remember this dude started liking and commenting on my shit, and I
You had
messaged
like a specific dude you looked up to then, and then you just started kind of
JJ Canvas or George Jacinto, I think it is. He was like a big dude that I looked at like early on, like super early on, and like getting into art. And he like actually like was like liking a lot of my shit and like posting comments on my shit. And I was like, I messaged him one night and I was like, dude, it's like super weird to look at your shit and see these nice words, knowing that like I looked up to you like super early on. And he's like, dude, I appreciate that, but like you're like you got a good hustle going on and you're doing great work. I'm like, oh wow, feels good.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was a really feels good man moment. And then like seeing artists that I love like my shit and realizing that like some of these people are following me is like really fucking weird. Like I remember seeing like that Keikai Kitaki was like following me and liking my shit.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I've been following him for a long time.
Yeah, he follows my shit and likes it, and I was very, very confused when I saw that one. And then a couple other fucking bigger artists like follow my shit, and I'm like, this is weird. I'm very uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, in a way, that's kind of I imagine the most verification or like validation you can get on it, right? Like if your peers that have the same or higher skill level are saying like, yeah, this is, you know, this is good or this is likable, then
yeah,
what
but
else can you go for, right?
I mean, like that's the thing. Because
That's
like, in some aspects, I'm always like, I never am willing to accept that verification because I want to improve as much as I can, and I don't want to like get cocky or get an ego or whatever. I just want to keep improving.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I mean,
like even seeing
fair.
like these things happen, it doesn't matter. Like it's nice in the moment and it's nice to look back on and like keep these notes. But like still, it's like okay, whatever. I still got places to go. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
Like it was weird. I went to Lightbox, right, and I asked a couple like artists for portfolio reviews, and I felt really weird doing it, because like I remember I asked Donato for a portfolio review, and he's like, "Dude, this is really good work. I don't. It's just gonna be minor nitpicks." I'm like, "Doesn't matter, literally anything, because I still have like a lot to learn." And like, I guess it just feels weird like asking for critiques now, and I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, kind of. I think I can kind of get where you're going there. I haven't really gotten to a position where I've done that much or thought I was good enough to even submit a critique. So maybe I'm like the level below that, but I guess
Honestly,
that'd be kind of
ask for critiques as soon as possible. Like you'll get a lot of information, especially early on if you're asking these bigger artists. Like if you go to a convention and you ask them like, "Hey, can you look at my stuff?" Like the insights you'll get early on are really fucking good and really good at pushing you.
gotcha. You said you went to what convention?
Lightbox Expo. The biggest one that I got like my early critiques from was Spectrum. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, and that's when I like got most of my growth. So I asked like Noah Bradley for critiques. I got a critique from Ian McKegg, Carlo Ortiz, Cynthia Shepard. Like it was all the fucking like art heroes.
Yeah, that's probably some of the best input you could get.
Yep, all the fucking A team. Like Spectrum was like the Lightbox before Lightbox. Like it was super tight knit too. Now not as much so, but still pretty good.
Is that something they hold like yearly then somewhere?
Yeah, they've been pretty bad recently with like doing it every year, but they're now on the yearly thing and they're doing it like with Planet City Comic Con, so it's like a merger thing.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty good though. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I was considering actually going out. I've never really been to a convention, I guess, ever really. But I was considering going out. Now that I have the financial means to do so, I just don't know what ones I'm going to.
I mean, I guess it depends on like what you're looking for. Also, hi Clear Jay. It depends on like what you're looking for. So if you're looking for, let me get my stuff in front of like portfolio reviewers and like art directors, that would depend on like what type of stuff you're looking for. So if you're like looking to do board games, go to Gen Con. If you're looking to get into like concept art and shit, probably go to GDC. If you're just looking to get like feedback early on from artists, also probably do Spectrum.
Gotcha. Yeah, what I've been
Even
pursuing
like Gen
for
Con.
quite a while now is at least as the general goal was like a 3D environmental artist, which we're probably somewhat familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got so the main thing I feel like that's holding me back at the moment is a lot of the technical aspect of it that you have to handle. Just like, I mean, I pay a lot of attention to things like composition and level layout and all different stuff, but then when it comes to actually figuring out all the different little minute details of how you have to accomplish that in like a game engine or a modeling program can get really grating over time.
Right.
But yeah, so that kind of thing is what I'm going for there, and I'm really got the landscape aspect of it down pretty well, but that's like the most niche section of the job, I'm pretty sure, compared to most people that start out with just like modeling. I don't know, a teacup
like,
or something.
I mean, like a good environment artist is like pretty in high demand, especially like the 3D modelers, like modeling the stuff for like the game that you're gonna be playing in. I see like environment artist positions all the time, so it's not
Yeah.
super niche.
Well, I don't mean that the position is niche. I just mean the like the specific skill set or sub skill set of creating the terrain is just like a small part of the job compared to like knowing how to make textures and models and layout, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
It's like if you're a paint. I don't really paint that well, so I don't have great of an analogy. But if you're painting, you only knew how to do stuff like of one specific subject. It's like that'll work. But if that's your only subject you could paint, then pretty niche.
I get that. I guess I've like always been of this mindset of like I guess when getting into art I've always been of the mindset of perfect something or get really good at something and then branch out. don't try and be like a master of all early on.
And then what you cut out after you said get really good at something.
Yeah, just don't. I've always had the mindset of, like, don't try and be a master of all early on.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
So what turned you on to doing Star Wars things now? I hadn't seen those in the past from you.
I don't know. I just kind of like. I originally did this sketch. Let me flip the canvas. But yeah, I originally did this sketch. I really wanted to do like a space fight scene or something. And then I ended up doing this one. And I liked it. I'm like, whatever. I'll fucking paint it up. That's just out of the blue, I guess.
I find it interesting, like how I feel like they're extremely different compositionally to what you've done before. Like these are very,
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like they have a lot of movement to them. If you,
Yeah, they're very like.
the very.
How the fuck
Go ahead.
did you sneak in here? What the fuck? Okay, sorry. No. Yeah, I've been getting like a lot of the critiques I've been getting recently are you're when it comes to environments, you're bad at like telling the scale like quickly. Like either add a character or like whatever, but you can like add it without that, but I'm always bad about adding like that easily identifiable scale. And then I've been getting a lot of your stories are kind of weak. So I think these are a little bit better at pushing the story and movement, and like these feel like keyframes to me for like movies and shit, which is good because fuck it, I want to get in movies. Fuck it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the art directors I talked to at Lightbox was an art director for a moving pictures company, and she really liked my one of my paintings and wanted me to email it to her. So I did that. Hopefully I get a fucking job. That would be.
I mean, things are going pretty. I don't really know what clients you have or anything now, but things seem to be pretty consistent now, right? Seems like you got a lot of freelance stuff.
I don't know about.
I mean, I don't mean to pry or anything.
I mean, it's going okay. I've been getting, like, I got some freelance clients last year, and then I've been getting some with Magic recently, and hopefully it keeps going, and I keep getting work with them, and can finally make enough to justify moving out of my fucking parents' house.
It would be a nice time for sure.
It'd be really good. I mean, God bless my parents for, like, not fucking forcing me to move out and shit. And being understanding with art, but God, I want to be just, like, self-sufficient, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get you. I'm kind of in that stage at the moment now, too. I'm sure I'll move out eventually here within probably a couple years, but...
Yeah. Art's a rough field, dude.
Honestly, I don't know how people manage to get into or do art without, like, some kind of really supportive group like parents to help them out.
It's really hard. Like if you don't have that support group, you basically have to fucking go extremely hard. Like I've known, like, the people that I knew that like didn't have that support structure basically moved out to fucking LA, like just straight away. They just did it. They're just like, we're going out there, and then they got like a part-time job to like pay the bills, like lived with other people to make rent affordable, and then just like went hard.
Just like 100%.
Like 1,000%. Like
1,000%.
Literally, you got home and you were working on art until like fucking like 3 in the morning, and then you slept for 4 hours and went to your day job. Like,
I think that
rough.
takes a special kind of person too. I don't think I could maintain that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, it takes like a extremely rough, like a very hardy person to be able to fucking do that shit. Like, I have the utmost respect for people that have done this shit without the support structure. Like, I don't know how they do it.
For sure. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like, I complain all the time about, like, living at my parents' place because, I mean, like, in some ways it's just, like, I guess somewhat... Hey, get out. Don't. Ellie! Stop. Sorry. I guess, like, in some ways it's, like, a little bit embarrassing, like, being, like, 25 and living with your parents still. Like, I don't want to have to do that shit. I want to be, like, sustainable. But, like, when it comes to fucking art, I feel like if you don't have the support structure like that, you have to be, like, an extreme type of individual to be able to, like, make it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on one hand, I get that, like, socially, it's pretty... People definitely look down upon, like, oh, you're living with your parents or whatever. But at the same time, like, on the personal level, it would be probably outright foolish not to take up on something if it allows you to get where you want to go, right? If you're like, I'm gonna just appeal to, you know, whatever fits socially and then ruin all my dreams and plans in the meanwhile, like, that's just dumb.
Yeah, like,
right?
I would absolutely rather fucking stay home every single day working on art. Like, also, I am fucking absolutely blessed that my fucking parents, like, I am like, God, my fucking parents are fucking amazing. I will never forget them. But, like, not only do I live with my parents, I never got a fucking license, mainly because, like, I had seizures. So I was terrified of getting a license. So that meant, like, I essentially just lived at home and fucking worked on art all day, every day. I dropped out of fucking college, and they were fine with that because they knew I wanted to pursue art, and they're like, fine. But you have to fucking go hard with art. Like, they were completely understanding with every single thing when it came to art, and I will never forget that.
That's awesome. You let them know about it, I assume?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, like, it takes that... I feel like in a lot of cases it takes that kind of support, you know, that you could actually, you know, then you have the option to just go hard on it compared to, you know, people that get kicked out or whatever, or all that kind of stuff.
Like, I can almost guarantee if I got kicked out or I was, like, forced to move out at a certain age, I probably wouldn't be an artist. I would probably be, like, working fucking at Walmart or McDonald's, because I don't fucking have any skills other than art, let's be real. Terrible at math, terrible at most things. Ellie!
Well, seems like you're... I mean, honest, in my opinion, I feel like you've made it already, but I know you're always looking to grow there.
Yeah. I mean, I know technically, like, the whole, like, I made it. Like, the big things for, like, artists is like, oh, you're working for Magic, you made it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm making enough to fucking make a living, but yeah, I made it, I guess. And it's not because of Magic. Magic pays well. They do. Mm-hmm. They do good. But it's more so, like, I can't rely on one company to get all my work. Which is why I'm, like, really trying to fucking hustle and get more jobs. And, like, if I get, like... I feel like if I get 4 to 5, like, big clients that, like, are consistent, I'll be good. But getting that is rough.
And the thing, too, is, like, as cool as art is, it's really one of those things that tends to... How should I say it? Like, it can be very fickle, right? Because it's just associated with the media people are interested in, and there's such huge swings, like, monetarily for what businesses are up and what they're doing.
Like, I was talking with
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I was talking when I talked to the art director at MPC, they were like, yeah, like, I know, like, a while back everybody was, like, all for, like, the photo bashing thing, but, like, it's swinged in terms of, like, concept art right now. People don't want, like, the photo bashy, like, dope looking stuff. They want, like, painterly stuff. Like, that shit's, like, really good right now. So, like, even, like, within, like, probably the past 3 years. Like, I remember 3 years ago, everything was, like, super photo bashy and, like, super tight, rendered. Now it looks like it's swinging to painterly again. Like, even within, like, the past, like, 3 or 4 years, like, shit swings so much.
Yeah. And then I can see especially, like, I mean, even if you have you really do need at least like 4 or 5 consistent clients at that point. Because if you're only relying on one, it's like, what if they just don't want your styler anymore?
It's not even that. Like, it's not even like, I don't even think like it wouldn't be like that with like most clients. They're fine with like your style. They hire you because they know you do good art. I think it's more so of like relying on one client for, even if like a client plays like 1,000 to 2,000, like an image. Having that, just that, like there could be like blocks where you don't get money, right? There could be like times when like, oh, they're not hiring me this term. So
I get you. Like the workload they have available.
Yeah, it's more so like that. It's like, well, am I gonna get work this time? Am I gonna have enough work to pay for my rent and my food? Like, it's more so like that. Like keeping like a consistent amount to where you're not struggling for money as much. Like I know like freelance artists that are like pretty high up, and most people think are like making it, that rely on Patreon and fucking Airbnb for the side hustle to get by. Like just because you've like got work with Magic the Gathering doesn't mean like that you're making it. Like you're probably still doing rough. Like the main people that I see that are doing freelance for their main thing, like there was this thing a while back on like Lauren Pinapito's Twitter on like what's your income ratio for like art, and like the fucking people that were doing mainly freelance, I'm gonna be 100%, most of those people are probably getting by on their art director jobs or bigger company jobs. Like every single one that I saw that was mainly freelance, like there was I won't fucking name names, but there was a couple people, and I know these people have worked for like doing art director gigs or bigger fucking movie gigs, like and like all that stuff. So it's more so like having those persistent clients that are big paying, I guess.
Yeah.
Like even like doing freelance for full time, it's like about like the consistent clients that you have. Like
so is there a way to like shift into something that is more consistent, or does that just come with the territory in terms of
freelance is inconsistent and a very rough job. I mean, it's fun and fulfilling, but is very rough. Like if you want consistency, you look for a studio job as soon as possible. Because not only for freelance do you have to, at least in the States, you have to pay higher fucking tax rates, and you're getting fucked on that. You also have to pay for your own insurance and all that fucking shit. Like, yeah. Freelance is fucking rough. And the fucking pay that you get for most, and the pay that you get for most of these companies is pretty bad. Like most of the companies, the starting pay is like $200 for a full illustration.
You said 200 or what
200,
was it?
200, yeah.
Like $200.
$200 for a full illustration, yeah.
I feel like that's really low. How long does that take to make?
What? Like $200?
No, I mean like the actual illustration. So if they're paying you 200, right? If you try to equate it out.
I mean, I equated it out like to hourly for like my minimum wage, and it was about minimum wage for the amount of time that I put in. But to be fair, a lot of these companies you can ask for a fucking raise and shit, but the fact that it's a starting rate of $200 is still pretty fucking scuffed. Like I didn't even know you could ask for a fucking pay raise until I fucking talked to a freelance tutor that also started working with Magic, and he was still working with the company that I was talking about, which I won't fucking name because I don't want to get fucking fucked. But I was talking to him. I don't even know if it's that, because I think like this is pretty public knowledge now. But I was like, yeah, so are you still like working for like that amount of money? And they're like, oh no. After a while, I was like, I still love to work with you, but I gotta pay the bills or whatever. Is there any way we could do like a raise? And they're like, yeah. I didn't ask like what he's up to now, which I should have. But I guess that's good to know. Like, I didn't even fucking think about like asking for a fucking raise for a company that's got standard freelance rates.
And especially if they're such a big company, they should be able to allocate the funds.
So this company should absolutely be able to fucking pay their artists better. They've got big like IPs that they're working with for their card games. Like they got very big IPs.
Where do you think the traditionally low rates come from for art? Is it just because it's not
I
like a life activity? Because I feel like that's a trend across the board for most forms of art, really.
So I think the main thing is like with freelance and stuff. So I think it's a couple things. One, I think these companies haven't like changed their rates since like fucking 1990 or whatever. Because in a lot of like, I remember talking to an artist that was a book cover artist, and they were like, yeah, if I did like a book cover, or if I did like 3 book covers like in a year, I was set for the year. I didn't have to do anything else. But now they were like, yeah, now I have to do like a book cover every 2 months to get by, or a book cover every month. Like a lot of these rates haven't changed since like 1990. And on top of that, the influx of the amount of artists that are like that know about art and are getting into art, especially like concept art and freelance illustration, like the growth of this in like the past few years has been out fucking standing. And the fact that there's so many people looking for work now, people can these companies can get by hiring artists that are probably above the skill set that are, you know, willing to do prices for fucking peanuts to get an entry foot. And I'm the same way. Like the company that I was working with that was paying like 200 a card, like it was like, oh well, you know, maybe I'll get another job from this, and it's good to put on the resume. Like it's like it's just
And I
happens.
think combined with that, with having more television, internet, all that kind of stuff come about in more recent years, I feel like there's a heavier, how should I say it? Like the standards within media has risen as well, which means that for the same skill level, you probably get paid less now than before.
Mm-hmm. Also, like another thing, um, like sorry, hold on.
Sure.
I'm trying to fucking think of how to put this. Yeah, back in the days when you went to like you wanted to get a hold of an art director, like you wouldn't just fucking email them. You would have to fucking send a mailer to them. You'd have to get a portfolio together, get some like stuff, get some samplers, and fucking send that to them through the fucking mail to like try and get a hold of them. Like now anybody can just look up their fucking email and email them. Like it's like also that whole aspect of like the commonplace of like getting a hold of these art directors, which is why I think a lot of people don't fucking get into like book publishing, which is why I'm probably gonna send more stuff to book publishers, because a lot of these book publishers, they only accept stuff by mail. Like still, there's no like, you can't do a fucking portfolio drop through the email for a lot of these companies. You still have to email actually mail them.
Yeah, that could be a pretty good kind of like back way into it.
Another thing is like even with these people that mainly do, if you want to get into them, a lot of the people that send these physical mailers actually have a better time getting in, I think, because it's different to see like someone sending an actual mailer. You got like a physical thing. It's not like with an email where you just like click on it, like look at the fucking thumbnails real quick and get rid of it. Like you're fucking opening up mail.
Yeah,
Like
it takes more effort to open, which I guess it'd make it more memorable, or like you'd be paying more attention to it because
yeah.
you have to go a little bit out of your way, right? You can't
Yeah.
just open it up then hit delete.
Yeah, you can't just like look at it and be like, all right, this is fucking boring, like instantly out. Like a little bit of that effort like actually goes a long way in my opinion.
Oh, reminds me of the art grind to work on something for like weeks or months, and then someone looks at it for like 30 seconds and then scrolls.
Yep. That's
Oh
always good.
man.
Spend fucking months on a painting for them to fucking scroll past.
Yep.
Feels good.
But at the same time, it could be like, I don't know, maybe it influences people on like a subconscious level or something.
What,
I'm
like
sure
the mailers or?
Well, I guess the mailers too, but I was mainly talking about, someone looking at a painting for like 30 seconds. I don't know how much it really makes a difference, but
I've always heard this phrase when I was like learning art, I guess, and I guess I don't even know where I fucking heard it from, but the idea of, um, at least when it comes to like concept art, and I guess the same is true for illustration. You want someone to be able to look at your painting for like 10, 20 seconds and be able to instantly like do a rough sketch of it. Like a good concept in terms of like concept art is something to where you can look at it for like 10 seconds and a fucking child can draw it. Like, let's say you showed a child a screenshot of like a TIE fighter, and we're like, okay, look at it for like 5-10 seconds, now draw it. Do you think they would be able to draw it? Yeah, of course. Now let's
it's
say
got a
you,
pretty iconic design, yeah.
yeah, but then let's say you showed like, I don't fucking know, the shit from Alien, or I'm trying to think of like something that's like a little bit scuffed that's still popular in media. Anyway, but let's say you show something that's a little bit more complex. It doesn't have an easy to see silhouette, and you show that to a child, and you're like, all right, draw it. You want the child to be able to be like, all right, I can draw that real quick, or someone that's like never seen or like held a pencil to be able to like realize that. And I feel like the same is true with illustration. Like, you want someone to be able to look at the composition and do a rough outline. Like, if I showed you this for the first time for like 10 seconds, and I'm like, alright, draw like the basic outline of it. What's the basic outline of it? Well, there's a fucking triangle TIE fighter right here, there's a dude right here, there's the ground, there's an explosion right here, and then there's a silhouette of an explosion right there, and then like a little TIE fighter. That's the basic outline. And you want
How do
to
you
like,
think that relates to their actual interpretation or like retention of the image? Is it just that having more recognizable shapes and patterns makes it kind of stick in the head more? Do you think that's
in terms
what
of
it
like
is?
composition, I think it's like something that keeps you in the image. Like for retention, I feel like it's what keeps you in the image. Like, do you keep looking at it, or are you just like, all right, whatever? I don't know. Like, that's really hard. Like, what makes someone look at a illustration for long? I think it would be like how the eye is led. So let's say you're looking at this image. What leads you back into the image instead of out of the like boundary? Like, let's say you have like these edge items that like draw you back in. Like, even in some ways, I have like clouds set up that are kind of leading you back into the central focus point, and I have like this little shard right there, and I'm probably gonna filter these clouds over here to like lead you back in. But you want to be leading, like if you're looking off screen, you want to have something that leads you back into that focal point.
Oh, did you ever see the can't remember if it was someone you knew on Twitter or not, but I saw someone
What's up,
post a
Shruti?
study about how art leads the eye and like people using eye trackers to test it. Are you familiar with that study?
Yeah, I did see it, but I don't fucking remember it exactly, but I remember seeing that whole thing. I think a lot of thing that's like leads the eye is like high areas of contrast. So I feel like if you're looking at this, you're probably gonna instantly go to this white area right here, and then probably down to the X-wing, because you have a high contrast here and then high contrast with the X-wing. But I think most people are instantly gonna go to that white area and then down to the X-wing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
This would be interesting to take like. It'd be hard to set up, but if you could actually just have eye trackers set up and then have people look at things and see, what do they actually look at on your paintings?
Yeah. That'd be really cool if I can see. How are you doing, Shuthief, by the way? But yeah, art's fucking rough, dude. There's so many things to learn and so many things to improve at.
Well, I mean, there's no cap to art, right? There's not like
Nah.
you never hit an end to it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always fucking learning. Like, it's so weird to like talk to like artists that are like your idols or whatever, and they're like, I don't know, I don't feel so great about my art, and you're like, what the fuck?
They're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and you're just like, well, what in the world am I?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And smart time, good shit, dude. Yeah, it's fucking weird.
One of the most fulfilling, I guess, careers you could call it, or like skill sets.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like the most fulfilling. I've always said this. I think it's the most fulfilling career you could ever do, but also the most like fucking anxiety ridden, depressing, and fucking. I don't know. Like, not only do you have to like, I feel like at the same time you're always like, oh, this is. I'm learning so much. I'm doing great. But on the other hand, you're like, I'm fucking terrible. I'm fucking terrible. I'm never gonna be good. Like, you have like this dichotomy of like, am I good enough? And like trying to be good. I don't know.
Yeah. You've seen the there's like that graph with the 2 lines on it.
Oh
versus,
yeah, the
skill versus perceived
skill
skill. I feel like
yep.
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Like, no matter how far you push, you're always gonna be like, I'm not good enough.
And then that like feeds back into you trying to get better, which ends up making you better, and then you see more flaws in your work. Yeah.
Yep, it's fucking rough. Art is both the fucking most fulfilling job and also, I don't know. It's a depressing, anxiety-ridden fucking ride, dude.
I mean, I don't really know the answer, but why do you think it's so related to that? Because I mean, historically, it's pretty clear there's a strong link between artistry and depression, right?
Yeah.
But is it one causes the other, or is it just happenstance that?
I have no fucking clue. I want to say that, like, I feel like the aspect of doing art is just so inherently like it's tied to you, right? Like, you're doing art and it's stuff that you want to do and you want to be better, and you're like, just as a thing, like as any art, like, you want to be better and be as good as you can be. At least for me, like, I feel like most artists are like, you want to be as good as you fucking can be, right?
You're cutting in and out a bit. I don't know if you have push to talk, but you should hold it down sooner or later after you speak.
Alright, well, fucking, hold on, let me just throw on fucking open talk, fuck it. Okay.
And you were saying?
Yeah, so I think, like, most people, right, at least most artists that get, like, super into art, and go through these, like, depression phases, are people that, like, are constantly striving to be as good as they can be. And with that, I feel you're constantly going to be looking at artists that you want to be like, and you'll constantly be comparing yourself to artists. I always hear this thing of, like, don't compare yourself to other artists, it's bad, you're comparing yourself to a highlight reel or whatever, which is true, but in the same case, I feel like most of the people that are doing this are also people that are like, okay, I want to do this because I want to be as good as this person. I want to be as good as I can be. So just saying don't look at the highlight reel it's pointless, because you want to improve to that aspect. You want to be as good as your favorite artist that's alive right now, or even like the fucking greats like fucking Repin and Sargent and Shishkin. Like, you're constantly doing this. So I feel like this is like a feedback loop of you're wanting to be that good and be that type of artist, which constantly leads to you being depressed over not being as good, Um, I don't know. It's a
Yeah, I
very
think I
hard
get you, man.
question. Um,
This is super real talk zone now, but
yeah, I'm fine with it.
isn't
I
I
don't
don't know
care.
about you at least. I mean, I enjoy it, but
Yeah.
I don't know about you at least. But at least when I've done art in the past, and especially when I was younger, and I just kind of did art just because, and I didn't even think about doing it for any reasons. It's kind of like an extension of yourself, right?
Right.
Even if you don't think that or say it explicitly, it ends up being just kind of like extruded out from your own interests and tastes and your own personality. So it's like when you start seeing flaws in your own work, it's almost like you're reflecting back on flaws in yourself. And I think that might be why people beat themselves up so much about it.
Yeah, and I know like constantly people are like, oh, I want to get critiques, and like I want to get critiques, but it's very hard to not take stuff critically, right? Um, I feel like it's very hard to like take the crits that you're getting and be like just push them off, like okay, that's fine. Like in all aspects, like this is something that you've spent hours on, probably fucking tons of hours on, and seeing that like something's not going right, it's rough, but also you want to improve, so you have to like struggle through that. Like I don't know.
Yeah. And about like talking about not comparing yourself to a highlight reel,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in one sense, it makes sense because it's not a fair comparison, but it does make sense from someone's perspective that is doing it because that can still be their own personal goal, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
maybe the highlight reel isn't what that other person actually is, but that
But
might be
it's
what you
what you
want to
want to
be.
be. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I get you.
Like yeah, you're comparing yourself to a highlight reel, but it doesn't matter because that's what you want to be. Like you're like okay, well, look at this person putting out constantly good work, and even the frustrating thing is even with people that like put out like most of their work, right? Like every single thing they do. Like I know people that are like, oh, I did this Magic the Gathering illustration, but I'm not too proud of it. It's pretty bad. But you're looking at this and you're like, fuck, that's really good. This person thinks that this is like not their best work, and I think it's really good. Like that frustration of like, um, even this person's work that they're not the most proud of is something that I admire. Is I think it's a little frustrating, but it's something that you should always push you to be a better artist. It should never like discourage you. Even like with
Mhm.
things like even with things like seeing that an artist is younger than you and better and is further along in their progress. Um, I've talked about this multiple times on my stream with like seeing that like certain artists are like, oh man, this person's like fucking 19 and he's working for Riot or whatever. Like it's frustrating to see that, um, but it should motivate you to push yourself as much as you can. Like it should never discourage you past like a couple like seconds. Like oh man, you
Yeah,
should always
honestly, that's what got me in the past.
yeah
Like my excuse has always been, oh well, they're like 6 years older than me. Like we'll see where I am in 6 years. But then you
yeah
hit like that one person that's like
that one
15, just
not
amazing.
15 or 19 and working for fucking Riot or ILM or something. Like
Yeah.
I always see these things and it always frustrates me because I feel like it's almost putting like bad information. Like you want to say that like oh you should never look at someone's like successes and be discouraged, but it's not about being discouraged. It's about seeing that you can be better, and then you got places to go. And I always try and use these things as motivations, like seeing my friends get work that I'm happy about. I'm always happy about it when it's like my friends and like seeing that they're getting work and it's work that they want to do and it's a goal for them. Even seeing like peers that are getting work, like it's always like okay, this person's getting work, and especially if they're like younger, like 19 or whatever. If they're getting work and they're 19, like it should always be motivation to be better. It should never be something that discourages you or makes you resentful of what they've accomplished. It should always be motivation. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Real stuff there.
Real. Real talk. Yeah, fucking download this conversation and throw it up on fucking Patreon, boys. I'm about to do
well,
this. This is
glad
actual
you can
good.
give it to the other half of
The
Patreon.
other two people.
Yeah,
Feels good, man.
exactly.
Fuck it, I'll just throw it on YouTube.
Sure thing. I don't care. You can do it.
Fucking quality content, dude. Feels good, man.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to look up the dumb Twitch Prime thing. It literally says unavailable. Like I didn't use it on.
That's so fucking bizarre.
So mad.
I always love doing real talks. Like, it's not too often that I get into like these super real talks, though. But they're always fun
Yeah.
to do.
I feel like I mean, I'll make a wild guess here and just assume that you're probably a rather introverted person.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, same. Pretty
Not
easy,
even a
but
wild guess. It's pretty
just
fucking
a
obvious.
wild guess here.
Just a wild guess, but I think you're a fucking loser. Let's be real.
I mean, I don't. It's not a loser. It's just that's just how
I
people
guess.
are. But anyway, yeah. What I was talking about that is, I feel like that's actually relatively common. Is that if you're, and I say this because I'm the same way, is if you're more introverted, like you naturally want to have those kind of conversations and just have
Mhm.
that kind of like connection with people when you're talking to
Yeah.
them. But then it never like naturally comes up in life, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're just going about your day, you pretty much never meet someone that
Is
has those
also
kinds
into
of
art that you
conversations with
can have these conversations
and,
with. Yeah.
Like even if they do, you don't just like look them in the eye and then just start talking about it unless you're like me and you hop in a Discord channel because I told
Yeah.
the streamer to get in a Discord channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the last time I had a real talk was also on stream, and I was just talking to random people about art and frustrations and shit.
Cool thing about the internet is you can talk to people without much worry because you don't feel as a you know what I mean? Like you don't feel like you have a reputation on the line as much. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's as much that. It's just like I felt like more comfortable doing that because I'm doing an art stream where I know like 90% of my audience is fucking artists. So I felt comfortable doing real talks, and I've always been like real with like frustrations and things that worry me when it comes to art. Like I've always been pretty open about that shit, about how it's frustrating, it's worrisome, art's like everybody,
I'm sure
especially with like Twitch. I feel like it's even more so with Twitch. Like I feel like every single Twitch artist is always like, art's fucking happy-go-lucky. It's very wonderful. When it is, it's a wonderful thing, but it's also very frustrating and anxiety-ridden and fucking
there's
terrible.
two sides for sure.
Yeah, it's not just like happy-go-lucky. It's art's rough.
I'm sure that definitely like people I'm sure appreciate that and probably get good things out of it. Like the actual people that communicate and participate in discussions on the internet is usually a very small percentage.
Yeah.
And so I always like to think that what you're doing has larger impacts than you actually ever, because most people just hear it or listen to it and then go about their day without saying anything, but they might still be thinking about it or who knows what.
Yeah. You always hope for that, right?
Yeah. Did that new Tarkov update come out yet?
God, I fucking wish.
Do we know what's in it?
There's they're adding like the base. They're adding like custom gun builds.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
that's
adding like
right.
the
They were
base.
gonna.
There's a new map. There's a couple new scav bosses coming. One for woods and one for the new map. There's like custom gun builds that you can like save the preset and then like just have it to like buy on the market.
Wait, that's like my number one
Yep.
thing I needed, because I would spend like an hour just to buy all the parts and build the
Yep.
gun.
They're gonna have
And
like a
then-
custom gun list. Anything that you've like discovered on the market, you can like quickly build the gun if you've
Oh.
like discovered it.
Oh man, My prayers have been answered.
Yeah, it's gonna be real fun. So then you can just quickly like build the gun and then have a parts list and like click on that gun and be like, all right, I want to build this, and it'll buy all the fucking parts that you don't have already in your stash.
So I can set that up and then proceed to be the most with nothing else on.
Proceed to be the
Stretch.
what?
The Mosin man, you know, like Mosin.
Oh, the Mosin? Hell yeah, dude. Fucking baller Mosin. The best Mosin I fucking ever made was like a sawed off with like a fucking sight on it. It was fucking dumb as shit.
Yeah, there's just like random derpy guns are the best. You got like 3 lasers on it for no reason.
Oh my god, I fucking
They're
made
not
a...
even symmetrical, right? You got like one on the bottom, one on the scope.
I fucking made like an AK or an M4 or some shit, and it had like fucking 6 flashlights on it. It's like fucking shining a floodlight on someone. It was some good ass shit.
Oh man, I really wish they had a more like alliance or faction type of gameplay in it though. Like it'd be awesome if there was a reason not to shoot someone.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty
You know
cool.
what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. I think they're adding something kind of cool when it comes to like factions. They're gonna add like to where like bears have like better proficiency with like AK systems, and then the USEC have better proficiency with like ADARs and M4s and shit. Which could be cool, but I don't think it's like anything like the faction system, like you're fucking playing WoW or some shit.
Yeah, like if you could look and then you have to determine whether it was a friendly unit or not. I guess really what it comes down to is it'd be nice to have friendly units every once in a while and like not know. Because when it first
not fighting nakeds.
Like, yeah, I started the game and I'm like, oh, who do I don't know whether I should shoot this guy or not. And then by like, you know, whatever, you get to level 40, 50 or whatever.
You're just like, fucking, if it
moves,
kill it. Yeah, fucking kill the fucking scavs. Oh my god, I was playing earlier today and I had like a really fucking good loadout. I got some good ass shit. I had a labs key card from my scav, and I also fucking got a bunch of shit from it because I was being super fucking greedy. And I was walking past and I saw this fucking scav, and I was like, do I fucking kill him or not? And of course it was a player scav, and he just fucking domed me, and I'm like, dude, I had fucking 4 fucking guns in my backpack. I had a fucking OPSKS. I had a fucking AR from a fucking PMC that I killed. Oh, I was fucking so salty. But
it's the worst.
That's
you
the
got
fucking
like
game.
all the world, and then it's right there.
And I'm like, do I fucking kill this scav, or do I was like, I don't want to fucking risk fucking having another fucking sniper scav up on the rock just instantly dome me after I fucking kill this dude. So I didn't kill him, and then he fucking domed me with this Taz, and I was like, oh no.
With a Taz even.
It was a fucking Taz, dude.
From like 200 meters probably.
No, he was like right next to me. I just didn't like shoot at him instantly because I was like, I think this is an NPC. Because he was fucking walking like a goddamn robot. Like he was doing the movements. He was like,
he's got a down pat. He knows like, all right, if I walk like sideways and look in random directions.
And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking kill him. And I was lining up the fucking headshot, and he fucking tossed me, and I'm like, fuck me, dude. I was so mad. But whatever.
There's some pretty huge swings in that game.
Yeah, I spent the day just getting a shit ton of money and fucking armor and kits, and then I played like 2 hours ago and fucking lost everything.
I remember the probably the most profitable run I had. I was like dirt poor, so I just had a what are they called? The TT pistol, right?
Oh yeah, the TT. Hell yeah, dude.
Just a good old TT, right? That's all I'm rocking. And I can't remember if this was before or after they added the boss on customs at the gas station.
Oh yeah, the Rajik or whatever.
Yeah, but it was around the gas station on customs. Pretty sure it was before the boss, and there was some like big player fight that went down, and there was this dude that finished up looting, and he was like just about to extract, and then I swear I got the luckiest shot in the game, because I just domed the dude.
Just
like
fucking
straight
domed him. Hell yeah, dude.
And I proceeded to pick up like a thermal and a full set and like a fully kitted out gun, and it was like 800k just with my TT pistol I picked up, and I was out of there, man.
Hell yeah, dude. I had a really fucking lucky scab game earlier today. Well, it would have been if I didn't fucking. All right. I was dumb with this one, so I deserved this death. But there was like a giant firefight that was happening at gas station, and I saw a couple people looting. I fucking I had just a Mosin, so I fucking sniped that fucking dude in the head while he was looting with the fucking irons. And I was super greedy, so I went down and grabbed like an AK or something, and I thought it was the same AK that I had as my spare. So I was like, okay, whatever. We'll just
I already
fucking
see
pick
where
it
this
up.
is going.
So I picked up that fucking AK thing. The AK mag that I picked up for it didn't go with that thing. So I went back with the fucking Mosin, and I was just sitting there because I heard some people shuffling because I had contacts on with my scav.
Yeah.
So I heard shuffling, so I went back and I hid. And I went back to change to like loot the other guy. I think he like the Archangel Mosin. So I picked that shit up, and I was about to loot the other person. As I started looting, I heard shuffling. I went to my fucking AK, went to shoot at him. The fucking gun was out of ammo. I tried to reload. The magazine didn't fit. And I
Because
was
you
like,
got the wrong.
because I had the
mags.
wrong mags. So I was like, oh my god, why did I fucking grab that gun? So I just sat there and fucking like tried to pull out the fucking at Mosin and try and no scope him, but I was fucked. I didn't have a pistol. I was
thoroughly disappointed, and your day is ruined.
dude, there was fucking, I had, one of the dudes I fucking started looting, I saw fucking ADAR, an M4, I was like getting ready to loot the M4 when the fucking dude rolled up with the fucking, it was just a fucking filthy little fucking, like, hatchling that must have picked up a fucking Taz or
Yep.
some shit. I was like, god damn it. I was so mad. But I deserve that one for not checking the ammo.
Was it one of those like TKO rounds or whatever, like the real crappy one?
For what? Like the...
You know how there's the I can't remember what it is, like the Vepr series. You know, there's
Oh, the Vepr? No, it was
Yeah,
a,
like
it
the
was an
alternate
actual
ones?
AK. It was like an actual, I think it
Okay.
was like an AKM or something, but I picked up an AK 107, I think it was. It was like decked out, and I was like, oh, it's an AK, we're good. But I fucking hate how, like, the AK mags, there's like 40 different AK mags. I'm like, oh my god. So I picked that up, and I was like, no, this should reload. And I checked the magazine, it was literally fucking empty. So I was like, alright. I started to reload it, or try to reload it, but it was like, oh, you don't have any mags. I'm like, oh no. Not like this. It was bad.
Not today, but alas, it was today.
God, that was such a fucking good run. I would have made so much fucking money. I was like super greedy too. I was like, do I fucking just extract with like this fucking good Mosin, this fucking ADAR that I have? But I was super greedy. I was like, I have a fucking big backpack. I'm gonna grab all the fucking guns. Have a good one, Nadasky. The greed got me, boys.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
It's
I was like super greedy because like my fucking stash was pretty full with like some shitty guns. So I was like, whatever. If we fucking lose, we lose out on these guns. But God, with the amount of like good guns I got, I would have had like 4 fucking kits right there.
so why couldn't you just like use your most in an extract? Did you have to go back for something?
Well, I was sitting there like trying to fucking look. I was looking out, and I honestly I was just super greedy. I was like in the rock by a bush over by that rock hill by that overlooks gas station, and I was sitting there, and I was like, I think I killed everyone because I sat there for like 2 or 3 minutes. And I was like, I think I killed everybody. I think I can loot everything now. Because I would hear someone, and then I would run away. And sit in the rock, right, waiting for people to, like, loot. But this fucking person just ran out of fucking nowhere. He must have been walking through the entire gas station to get outside. And then when I started to sit down to loot, he fucking popped his head out and fucking domed me. I was like, oh no. It wasn't
Oof.
anything like I need to go
Bigger.
back for anything. It was just I was fucking greedy. And I wanted fucking all of that loot.
The worst is when it's been like, you know, the shoreline, the mansion on it, or the what is
Yeah,
it, a hospital or something?
yeah, like the dorms or whatever.
Yeah, the that main building there.
Yeah, yeah.
For one, that's super creepy because there's like every angle you could ever want or not
Yeah.
want to always watch. But the matches where you're like looting it for literally 30, 40 minutes and there's like 5 minutes left in the match or something.
And then some
And
fucking random fucking
of course, there's some
hatchling.
random dude just right in the back of the neck.
Yeah.
It's like, why couldn't I have left just like 5 minutes ago? Did I really need this pineapple juice? I don't think so.
Yeah. Like, it's always like when it's like at the end and you're like, alright, I'm fucking clear. I'm good. There's just gonna be like a fucking scav or something in here. But it's always that fucking one lurking little fucking scavling that's like, oh, hey, what's up? Yeah. But I love that game. It's been super fun.
Pretty good. I mean, I feel like it kind of gets a bit like grindy at times,
Yeah,
but the main gameplay loop is pretty fun with it.
yeah. Like, I feel like once you get a bunch of kits, it's just like, let's go into labs and fucking PvP. Which is fun. I'm down with that.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know when it resets. I'll probably play next patch whenever they do that.
Yeah. This patch has been a long time coming. I've been like trying to cut down on my games recently. Like, for a while I was doing really good. I like uninstalled Steam, I uninstalled Epic Games Launcher, and then I don't know. I guess fucking WoW dropped, and my friend was like, "Yeah, you should get WoW." I was like, "Okay." I've been like trying to cut down like fully
It's
on
like
it.
to a black hole.
Yeah, I fucking unsubscribed from that game. I was like, alright, we're not fucking gonna do it. And I haven't played it in like 3 or 4 days. I'm just like, I'm done. Like, the
I
main
was
reason I
doing-
wanted it was
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to like play fucking Battlegrounds. But that's just not coming for like 3 months. I was like, alright, why did I fucking download this fucking game?
Yeah, I'd only join for like arenas or something.
Yeah, like I'm down for Battlegrounds. Like when Battlegrounds comes out, I'll fucking probably grind out my last like 20 levels and go play PvP, but until then, fuck that shit, dude. But yeah, I'm trying to like cut back on games. That's another thing with art is like you're like, at least for me,
Yeah.
I'm like, do I shouldn't be playing games, but like on the other hand, you're like I need like a break from doing art all the time.
It's like double awkward for me because an environment artist is supposed to make stuff that goes into the game. So on one hand, you can justify it and be like, "Oh, well, I'm doing
Researching,
research."
yeah,
Really, it's like, really, it's like, no, you're not.
yeah,
You need to be doing stuff. I was doing pretty well in it a few months ago. You know, just grinding it out, doing art,
yeah.
and then I got a VR set. So that
Oh,
that
that
went
must be
away.
fun to fucking sculpt in though.
I'd like to try it out. I haven't really gotten into sculpting much, but it seems like it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely want to see if I can try to load up some of the terrain from Iceland I'd been making. See how it looks in VR. That'd be nice. If I could ever find the motivation to actually make the textures for it.
Yeah. Gotta push yourself to fucking do art every single day. Even when you don't want to. I feel like, for me at least, like, starting, like, doing art is, like, always the worst. Like, as soon as I start art, I can go for, like, a decent amount of time. But, like, just being like, alright, we're gonna open up Photoshop now. That's the fucking
Same.
struggle.
Generally, it's like you start and then you just keep going until you.
Yeah.
Like
And, like, when you're
I
really
remember
into a
I would
painting...
have like a Saturday free. I'd
Uh-huh.
like, okay, I wouldn't do like anything during the week, right? And then I'd like just decide on a Saturday morning to start doing it, like literally 12, 14 hours,
Yeah. I
forgetting to eat and this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I've had fucking times where I'm like, I'm starting like doing something on stream, and it's always on stream when I notice this. But like, I'll like start doing like a painting on stream or whatever, and then like fucking I'll look at the clock and it's been like fucking 12 hours, and I'm like, what? Like there'll be times when I like do like I'll just be like super shitty when it comes to art, and I'll be like do like an hour or so, and then days will strike, and I'm like, all right, now we're gonna fucking grind out for fucking 14 hours straight. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, honestly, it's like half the time you don't even notice it. You can get in
Yeah.
like where you just, you're just doing art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get in that zone where you're like, I don't fucking know what's happening, and then next time you look at the clock, it's like been 14 hours and you haven't fucking eaten. That's always the weirdest when you're like, you start at like fucking noon and then you look at the clock and it's like fucking midnight and you're like, oh, I didn't fucking eat dinner.
Yep. And it's, but I don't know about you, but it would hit me like after I realized it or stopped. It wouldn't be like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's
it's
not
not
like,
like, oh, I'm hungry, and
yeah,
then I go and do something.
no, it's always
I
like, you look at the clock and you're
finish.
like, holy shit, it's fucking midnight, I'm starving.
Yeah, it's like 2 in the morning, and you're like, wait.
Wait,
And
I
then
need to
you-
eat. Yeah.
I mean, on the bright side, I don't know how true it is necessarily, but I hear at least 1 meal a day is actually good for you. I'll have to do more research into it, but maybe that can be a justification.
Maybe.
I know one thing that makes it difficult for me, at least, is at the moment I have a full-time job I'm working,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it difficult to be motivated to like work on stuff in addition to that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not gonna get anywhere unless I do that. So
Yeah. I actually remember like when I like got out of high school or whatever and got into college. I remember making the idea of like drawing every single day. It was like when that happened because I was terrified of the fact that I might like just stop drawing. When I got into like college and like got busy with shit or just I don't even know what the fuck the justification was. I think it was that I would just like be busy.
well, I mean, it's a reasonable fear in a sense to have, right? Because when you stop most things, it's not like you decide one day that you're just not gonna do it anymore. You just
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
just like it
quit.
just stops. So like that was like my fear that I would just like stop doing it. So I like started like drawing every single day, and I feel like that's when like most of my improvement like started, because I started like, all right, we're gonna draw every single day. Like even in fucking high school, I didn't draw every day. I was a fucking lazy piece of shit that played fucking Call of Duty all day. So like having that like, oh, we're just gonna draw every single day, it helped a lot. I think that's like something to like try and keep in mind, even like with work or whatever. Even if you're like drawing for like an hour or like 20 minutes, like just doing it every single day and like starting that habit. But God, if you start that habit,
Yeah.
don't break that habit like I did. I don't know what happened, but I broke it, and it's been hard to fucking get back into it. I don't know what the fuck happened there. But keep that habit of drawing every single day. Because then a lot of times it'll be like, oh, I'm just going to draw every single day for an hour. And then, like, you do that for a couple days, and then you start doing it for 2 hours, and then 3 hours, and then 5 hours, and then fucking 8.
I mean, there does come a point there though where it's like too much, and it's not
Yeah.
good for you. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I don't think, like, doing the fucking 14-hour days or 12-hour days even is good. I think, like, 8 hours of, like, concentrated work, or even 6 hours of concentrated work is better than doing fucking 12 to 18 hours. It's all about, like, how much effort your like, brain is putting into it. Not how many hours you're doing. Like, you could do, like, 12 hours of work, but if, like, half the time you're just, like, not focused, it doesn't matter. Like, I think 6 hours of focused work is better than fucking 12 or fucking 16 of unfocused work.
Yeah, that's where I had seen studies. It was a while ago. I don't remember where they're from anymore, unfortunately. But about how like cutting work hours, like if you cut a shift from 8 down to 6, in most cases it doesn't
Yeah,
actually reduce
Yeah.
work being accomplished.
In some
'Cause,
cases,
like-
it, like, increases it.
Yeah. There's definitely a balance to find within that.
Yeah, and I feel like each person has their own balance. Like, um, currently for me, I'm super fucking lazy. I'll admit it. Like, for the most part, I don't fucking like starting art and getting it to work. But like when I get like the main idea down and everything I have to do, and I have like a set like goal of what I need to accomplish, I can fucking get shit done like real quick. Like I've had times where I've had a fucking commission that like was due in like 2 days, and like I got it like a day ago or whatever. So I've had like 3 days total, and I've like churned shit out like super quick.
I mean, that's a whole nother discussion we could have, honestly, on the topic of procrastination.
Oh god, fucking procrastination is the worst. I've talked. It's funny.
I actually have kind of grown to like it, honestly.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I've talked to artists about it, and I'm like, so is anybody other artist like out here that like actually does like productive days, or are we all out here just like fucking like just actually one day popping off, and every other day we're just being terrible? And a lot of them are like, yeah, I'm fucking super procrastinated. Like fuck that shit. I'm not gonna. I'm super lazy when it comes to work. Which I think like having like that aspect of realizing what other artists are like is super beneficial. Like getting an insight into
Yeah.
what other people are like and that you're not alone in certain aspects is super good.
Because we talked about, like, there's the matter of wanting to get the highlight reel as your own level of skill.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if that's the only thing you ever look at and you don't look at kind of the more mundane, regular life stuff,
Oh
you
yeah.
can end up getting, like, really unrealistic expectation.
Yeah, for sure. Like being able to look at like other artists and like see like, oh man, they're just as self-conscious and go through the same things that I've gone through. And like in some aspects it's depressing because like, oh, every fucking artist goes through this shit. Every artist has to deal with these feelings of inadequacy and failure. But on the other hand, it's very motivating that you're not alone in this, and that you have friends that are able to help you out with this, and I guess that you're not alone. I guess
Very wholesome. Super
Yeah.
nice.
Feels good, man.
Do we have a feels good man emote? Would that just be like,
It just feels
wow,
good,
we
man. I mean,
'cause we actually have an emote for that.
yeah, it just feels good, man.
It becomes like, I don't know. It starts as a meme, then becomes a normal thing, and you forget it was a meme.
Feels good, man. Yeah, I think like understanding other artists like struggles is super good. I remember when I was going through like doing my first like commission for Magic the Gathering, one of the things that like kept me from like actually going through fucking massive panic attacks, because I was super fucking anxious when that shit happened. Like I was uh I was having a real rough time.
You said for Magic?
Yeah. Um
Gotcha.
I was having a real tough time dealing with that shit, and feeling that I wasn't good enough, and I was gonna fuck it up. But I kept thinking back to stories I've heard from like talks about artists that like had the same things that happened to them. Like I kept remembering this thing Carla Ortiz went through where her first Magic card, she actually missed the deadline by like fucking 2 weeks, didn't reply to the art director, and just like turned in like a painting that was fucking amazing. And like how she had like struggles, and when she was going through that shit, she wasn't feeling good about her work, and even had like worse struggles than I went through. Like just having that insight into every artist has felt this way. Every artist has felt these feelings of inadequacy when it comes to
Yeah.
their work. Like it's good to understand.
It gives you a much healthier frame of mind on it.
Yeah, and for me, it helped relax me and like have that like perspective of um, I'm not alone in this feeling. Everybody's gone through it, and you just have to take a breather, relax, and understand that You've gotten this far. You have worth as an artist. And just do
I mean, there's
your
also
work.
the other part of it too that people bring up, right? Is like, especially artists talking about how their art's kind of an extension of themselves, or they feel that way.
Hmm.
The other matter about it is like, art's not the only quality that like you're judged for your worth by, right? Like that's
Yeah.
not the only thing that just solely makes you valuable in any way.
Yeah.
It's easy to get in the mindset that like if you can't make good art for some reason, then you just aren't a good or valuable person,
Right.
which is ridiculous, but kind of
Yeah.
easy to feel that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Apparently, it's a known bug about the Twitch Prime thing. I'll have to email. I don't even know how to contact Twitch support. Mr. Streamer, do you know how to do that?
I have no fucking clue, dude. We tried fucking restarting your browser. Maybe your browser is just fucked.
I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Alright. It's almost midnight. I'm gonna fucking go to bed so I keep my schedule.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out too. You have a good one, man.
Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out and talking. I appreciate these
Thanks.
talks, dude. It was really good.
It was great. Yeah, really enjoyed being here.
Yeah. I'm pretty much always on Discord if you ever want to fucking chat, buddy. I'm here.
Sure thing.
Have a good one, man.
Sounds cool. I'll break out of being in an introvert shell sometimes.
Alright, feels good, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
Later. Alright, boys, we're done for the night. We might be back tomorrow. No promises. I might have to fucking do freelance stuff. But I might just break until TwitchCon. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Yeah, bye.